The wait is finally over. Today on Solshow, we review Sylvan LaCue, Far From Familiar. Wait, I thought this guy's name was Quest. Quest is Sylvan LaCue. Sylvan LaCue is Quest. Thank you for venting the struggle in that skit.
Please excuse me for the fuckery. It's bad enough, can't nobody fuck with me. I gave time, niggas had luxury. Now you motherfuckers. I lost my way. Don't let me fall. Won't fall from grace. Let thy kingdom come. Your will be done.
My current most popular review on this channel is my review for Searching Sullivan, which was like my 8th review ever. But that being said, Sylvan LaCue, at the end of that mixtape, he was known as Quest. He was signed to Visionary Music Group, and since then, he has grown a lot. For starters, he has left Visionary Music Group, and to be honest, that's like so like behind that it's not even really worth mentioning. The only reason I'm mentioning it is because he brings it up in this album in a line, and I'll just show you real quick.
You left the label, ironically, that was lacking vision.
And before this project dropped, we got some tracks such as Fall From Grace and Studio City, and it was clear that we were gonna get a different style. Searching Sullivan definitely had that just kind of raw hip-hop feel, and with this, he's definitely doing more vocal effects. He's choosing certain instrumentals. He's taking a little bit more of an electronic route stylistically. That being said, the lyrics and the story is still here. He is making the best of both worlds with like the catchy electronic and the synthesizers and all that, and he's also rocking, you know, the story, the personal stuff, and the lyrics. And I was a little bit skeptical going into this project because Studio City, it sounds a little bit weird. It's almost really dark and very, you know, it's kind of like this banger. I was like, this is not something that would be on Searching Sullivan. But in context to this project, it makes total sense. It fits right in. I've grown a lot to it. Before I was in mixed bag, but no, by now that track I really like. The message of Studio City also is a big theme for the album. The idea of the song is you are living this one life and you are living this other life, and a loved one from one life is trying to take you out of that other life. Basically, the studio is his symbolism for his rap life, and his loved one is trying to pull him out of that because he's getting just so caught up in the rap world. And that is one of the big ideas of this project, Far From Familiar. Sullivan, you know, he's made it, but at the same time, he's not this big-time rapper. And in one hand, he still has to live like this other, you know, personal life. And I think that's something most people can relate to. I can relate to that, where you got to balance things in your life. And when your dreams aren't technically going how they should, you gotta maybe just calm down on them a little bit and not put all of your energy into it. Far From Familiar also repeats a lot of what his EP bring that he dropped earlier a couple months back, where there's a lot of like stuff going on in his romantic life, and that's, you know, obviously affecting his entire life, so he's going to rap about it. And a couple tracks like Caravan that were on the EP even show up in this project, and contextually they make sense in both projects. If we're talking about tracks, Cruel World is an example that I want to give for what this project can do. In this, he has the lyrics, he has the philosophy, he has a very catchy voice, and like he has these voice effects that sound really cool, and the instrumental, these drums are just going hard, and it's so badass. It's a great song. That being said, I wasn't in love with every track. This one track, I think it was called Emeryville or Emeryville or something like that. It's a city in California. Basically that track, there was so much reverb, and I just felt like I was floating in this reverb city, and I still like the track, but it was just down on repeat listens. It was too much to take. Another thing I wasn't a big fan of in this project was there was this lady who kept coming in narrating, similar to how his mom did in Searching Sullivan, and that worked great because it, you know, provided a bridge for the story and connected the tracks together. Whereas this, I felt like it was kind of just repeating the ideas of the song, which we already kind of got just from Sullivan's lyrics. I didn't always feel the need to hear this woman narrating over and over again. I didn't think it was like this terrible choice, but I could have done without it. That being said, speaking of Sullivan's mom, the pork chops have returned!
Hold on, Sylvan. Didn't I tell you to take out those pork chops?
But I think the point where I really fell in love with this project was on the track Crosswinds. This is when the entire story came together. Sullivan, although it's only been a couple years, I believe people can grow a lot in a couple years, and I think everyone over the span of just a couple years becomes a completely different person. And in this track, he puts everything on the line. If you like the story that was in Searching Sullivan, you will love this track. I know I did. And there's nothing I can say other than this track is unbelievable. And I'm going to give my final thoughts now. Overall, I love this project. Searching Sullivan, Far From Familiar, I have debated in my head which one I like better. I do not know. I'm kind of tied. It's really hard for me to decide. Searching Sullivan, I think, had a kind of a better story, and, you know, it seamlessly kind of went from one place better, but I think the individual tracks on Far From Familiar are better, and overall, I think it sounds better, and the story, even though it's less, it's not like that far less. It's still a really great story. And in the end, this is just another chapter in the saga, and I will be very excited to see what Sullivan does next. I am very invested in this guy's story, and I can't wait to see what's next. And with that being said, guys, I give a very, very, very high 8 out of 10 for Far From Familiar, and I give it the Soul Badge of approval. If you guys feel like sticking around, maybe check out some more videos, check out my Twitter. If you really want, you can support me on Patreon, and I would deeply appreciate that. With all that being said, guys, I love you, have a wonderful day, and with that, I leave you.
And that don't mean nothing. At 4 in the morning, we on. Late night, you be calling on my phone and you wanna chill. And now we all alone and you acting shy. What's the deal? Do you need a little more of this drink in your cup? Need some more, baby.